Good morning, guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and join me every time I'm live. So, good morning, Connie. You guys, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I see my phone and quite a few people messaged me something about bad dreams. I don't know. I haven't read messages yet, but it's quite a few people. Like email and private messenger and did you have a bad dream too, Melissa? I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? What's going on? I was talking to someone last night. We were texting about business stuff and ideas, and I fell asleep in the middle of texting back and forth some ideas. And then I thought I woke up in the middle of the night, but I actually didn't. I don't think so, because I had to go check again. This was the one message that I actually checked, because I dreamt that I woke up in the middle of the night and checked the messages, and that this person was like, "You're so annoying. Would you quit messaging me?" And I was just like, oh my. So it was disturbing. So now I'm wondering, are the readings giving you guys insight? Is it like causing you to reclaim too much of your personal power for whatever it is, to be comfortable with that? And so now your dreams are being affected. I mean, what do you guys think? So Jessica says, had weird, intense dreams, but I can't remember what they were about. I was hella disoriented when waking up. That was the only part of the dream that I remembered. I know there were other things that I dreamt last night. I don't remember what it was, but I woke up feeling like, I was really like, I'm so sick of people. That's so messed up. I don't even know who I was dreaming about. But I know it was messed up, and I know I was upset, and I was just like, I'm tired of people being mean. So now we're going to have to do a reading, okay? I don't know what it's about. I don't know. We're going to find out. Oh, look who's at the bottom of the deck. Compassion. Kuan Yin. Release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. That's some sound advice. Let's see what the cards are going to say today, because obviously another shift occurred last night. I don't think there's ever been a period that at least I can remember where so much shifting is taking place. It's like, geez, pick a position and stick with it for a little bit. Let's see what's going on. Trying to tell us to love. Love is more than just, hugs and kisses. And that's another thing that kind of came up yesterday. I made a sarcastic post, and there was a response to it about whatever happened to I don't even remember what I said. Something about understanding people's light and loving them and being unconditionally understanding. And I mean, how is that? I mean, those are good things to do. Those are good things to do. Those are good things to have. But at what cost? At what cost? If you're going to deny the fact that you feel a certain way, that something annoys you, and like, oh, love and light, isn't that fakeness though? And I'm not directing it all at you, Carlos. It's just a question. Like, isn't that fakeness? Isn't that being fake? Isn't that allowing yourself to become light blind? All you want is light, 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 love, 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 love. When in reality, I mean, it takes a whole lot of love to be able to look someone in the eyes and be like, your behavior is freaking ugly, versus just like, oh God, the behavior is ugly, I'm just going to avoid that. So love is more than just like, oh, you're so amazing, yay. Love is so much more than that. So we have prosperity. The universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. So Carlos, you may be right. Maybe we're being asked to return to a state of, wait, where did you put it? To a state of love, genuine love, where you're not just fake love and light and namaste. And then the next card, Sorceress. You are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. So one of the most important things when you're dealing with half-truths, hi, Missy. One of the most important things when you're dealing with a half-truth is just laying it all out there. You're laying all your magic out there. You need to. You need to stop hiding and editing and allowing yourself to be kind of bullied in some way into conforming, because that's actually what's going on. When you're being forced to feel as though you can't be your authentic self, you're being bullied. I'm so against bullying. I'm really against that. So, golden opportunity. Important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them. So this is your opportunity to flow with where this energy is taking you. I mean, are you going to flow with it, or are you going to continue to control and create a false facade? Because when you do that, I mean, all this other stuff is kind of just bubbling beneath the surface. It's still there. You can pretend that it's not. You can be all like, love and light. Love and light. But let's face it, I'm going to be real right now. The people who I personally know that always put up the love and light public image. Now, there's this is key. This is the public image, love and light public image. Behind closed doors, they talk so much shit. I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to associate with you. Like, if you can't say this shit to their face, why are you saying it to me? Say it to them. Say it to them. Love and light their ass with the truth. Like, you think they are, well, however you think they are. I don't want to hear it, you know? So let's see what else the cards have to say. I think these nightmares are causing things that have been festering to bubble up. And, see. What do you feel? Defend to the end the worthwhile. Focus on the light. So you have to keep in mind you are comparing things that are not comparable, okay? Not only are you attempting to compare things that are not comparable, you are so distracted. And maybe that's why we're being encouraged to begin comparing things, or to continue comparing things, because it keeps us in a state of distracted. When you compare, when you try and compete, what happens? You exit that state of co-creation, because now when you compare and compete, I mean, what are you really comparing for? To prove that you're more superior, because you feel inferior, and you're trying to find some sort of validation, confirmation that you're not. And those are not necessarily bad things. Those are very, very natural, organic parts of a soul's journey back to a state of remembrance. But it really distracts you from what's actually in front of you. You know, that's what it does. It distracts you from what's really going on. Now, when people try and tear you down with their competition, I mean, what do you really have to do? defend to the end the worthwhile. Does that mean you have to like launch a full-on war against someone? No. It just means you have to know who you are. You have to begin that process of trying to figure out and accept who you are as you are in this moment. And if really need be, defend it. And oftentimes one of the greatest defenses for that type of attack is to not even participate. It takes all the air out of their fight when you don't participate. And I know that for a fact because I've had plenty of wonderful Facebook people just trying their damnedest to get me entangled in their bullshit. And I'm just like, I know who I am. I know I still have a lot to learn about myself, but do that shit by yourself. You want to build your audience off drama, do that shit by yourself. That's not how I roll. So defend to the end. And, there's a potential that what they really mean is to defend yourself by not participating. If you really know who you are, it doesn't matter what other people think about you. Because if you really know who you are, you're being very, very honest with yourself. Like, I know, as sweet as some people think I am, I could be the polar opposite and be really vicious and really mean and really go for your jugular without you even knowing what the fuck happened. But hey, I also know when I get to that point, you fucking begged me to get there. You begged and begged and begged. And so, hey, here you go. Here you go. This is what you want? Okay. But after you finish all of that internal dialogue that you should be having daily, you need to always remember to allow yourself to focus back onto the light. Not just exist in the light, nothing but light, light, light. You have to allow yourself to become familiar with your darkness. I'm not talking about fucking crazy ass rituals and animal sacrifice. See, that's the thing. Society has somehow convinced the general masses that darkness equals evil, and it doesn't. It doesn't. Evil has to do with human intention. Darkness is simply one degree, one region of degrees in this plane of existence. That's all it is. It's a part of you. And you have to remember that. I mean, a shadow follows you around. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. So allow yourself to explore your depths, but remember to once again focus on the light once you're done exploring the depths. And I guarantee you that light will shine much brighter, will appear much brighter. You'll have much more clarity on exactly how bright you are after you've allowed yourself to explore the darkness. Okay? So, man, I bought myself I hope I got a new tarot deck. Something about this deck, it just highlights all the freaking drama, and I don't necessarily just want to be aware of all the drama. But let's go ahead and pull from this deck, because nightmares, we need to see what the hell is going on. We need to see, okay. Okay. So something attempted. There was an attempt to really modify your perception. Okay, let's hold it this way instead. There was an attempt to modify your perception of you, your existence, your history, all of that. And your higher self is just like, no, cock blocked. Block it out. Block it out. What's already happened has happened. And you becoming fixated on things in the past, details that you can't change, is not going to grow you. Now, if you're going to look to the past to try and get better clarity on what exactly happened, because you're now at a point where you're open to understanding how you co-created that circumstance. That's beautiful. Do that. But if you're just going to be like, oh my God, I messed up. Oh my God, I should have done this. I should have done that. I shoulda, woulda, coulda. You can't change it now. If you're going to stick to that mindset, don't even bother. But if you're going to say, I shoulda, but now since I can't change it, what I'm going to do is in the future, I'm not going to repeat that. That's healthy. That's very healthy. So let's see. I knew it. Drama, 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 you fucking drama ass deck. No, this is not drama. This is causing you to really look at the shadow parts of your existence and see what's actually going on instead of trying to convince yourself, oh, everything's honky-dory. It's not all honky-dory. You have a tower moment coming. This is the end of cycles that are not growing you, okay? We are definitely trimming away what doesn't serve us. This is a good card. It's clearing away the stuff that no longer serves you. It might be a little bit difficult as you're going through it, but that's fine. You don't grow without resistance. That's how you grow muscle, with resistance. The larger the load of resistance, the larger the potentiality for growth. Remember that. Now, so many attacks, so many attempts. Maybe you're the fox. Maybe you're the fox feigning sleep, but in reality, you have your own weaponry. So if you have your own weaponry, should you really be afraid? Not if you did the work to master that weaponry. Not if you dive deep into yourself and invested in yourself and know how to use the tools that your soul has given you to utilize in this life for growth. So should you be afraid? If you haven't worked on yourself, if you haven't invested time and energy into yourself, then yeah, you have a very real reason to be afraid. But if you've already begun the steps, then no, you don't. You don't have to have mastered anything in this life to be able to start using the tools that are yours to begin with. So, these go well together. Hold on. Those go well together. You guys. Within you is so much magic, so much color, yet some of us choose to exist in such a drab state so you can better fit in, so you don't stand out too much. So for what? For what? And now that you're becoming aware that your roots, the parts of you that are buried very, very deep within you, are some of your most powerful parts, this is not going to suffice anymore. Existing in a merely drab state is not going to be enough for you anymore. But right now, you're not quite ready yet. And this might be the cause of some of the really, really odd dreams that have been going on. The subconscious is attempting to work out such disharmonic viewpoints. The way you see yourself, the way the world sees you, oftentimes they don't line up. And that's okay, because it's in that struggle that you really are growing the most. Now, speaking of struggle, drama, drama, drama. Let them break the cups. That's perfectly fine. We'll get new cups. New cups are coming. New cups are coming. This just gives you an excuse to get rid of the old stuff. And at the very least, whoever broke all the cups, whoever wilded out and broke all the damn cups, you now know who's not on your side. You now know who is not interested in helping you to grow. Clear them out. Seriously, clear them out. See? And once you do that, you return to a state of abundance. You begin to overflow with the energy of creation. And guess what? You then become a colorful tree. Color. And color is nothing more than the different branches of white light. Here it is. I do believe in powerful souls. I believe every single soul is a powerful soul. We're just in varying states of remembrance. I definitely don't feel I'm any more or any less than anyone else. I believe we're shoulder to shoulder, and each of us possess a very specific set of skills and coding that help to further everyone else's work. We're all interconnected. All of us, we're interconnected. So let's see. Joy. Hold on, guys. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not supposed to be somewhere else. Does rejection ever stop hurting? Well, is it rejection of self? Because you have to understand where that rejection is rooted. Did they reject you? Or are they an outward manifestation of an internal rejection? This totally goes with a lesson I taught last night. That's amazing. All right, let me get another deck to really figure out this message. How many of you had nightmares last night? Did more of you guys have nightmares? Yeah, Melissa, rejection is God's protection. It could definitely be that as well. All right. Ooh, okay. So this is all good stuff, though. So, to the celestial mountain. There are times when divine energy is needed to help us achieve our spiritual goals. When you do not feel completely in control of your destiny, the divine is usually gifting you with an opportunity to reach for assistance and to invoke divine power, to call to the celestial mountain so that you may be gifted with a far superior outcome. Your permission to beings that love you unconditionally to offer you help is an expression of spiritual empowerment. You empower those forces to come to your aid and help you manifest your life purpose and destiny. You are being asked to empower the divine to help you, to call to the celestial mountain within your own heart, to reach out and allow the divine to assist your current life unfoldment. We live in a free will universe, and no matter how much you're loved, in fact, because you are so loved and respected, no being will intervene for you without your permission. So this is about recognizing the power in that reunification. If you have to give permission to allow them in, to empower them enough to do whatever work, whatever assistance it is you need, that's about reunifying your energies, allowing them in. So this is a part of your destiny. Card number 48, Yod, destiny. Hold on. And it's in that allowing for the reunification, even on a much more superficial level, like allowing people to greet you and ask if you're okay, and just, you know, having conversation. It's really a reunification of that energy. Whenever you interact with people, you're commingling some of that energy. And this card is about needing to dive into yourself, okay? If you're afraid of deep sea diving, well, maybe you need a team of souls with you to help you in case you need to be pulled back up. You know, it's very easy for us when we are in that circumstance, in that elevated emotion, to completely lose sight of the fact that we have people there to help us. We have souls there to help us. We have beings there to help us. There's nothing evil about it. There's nothing weak about it. As a matter of fact, I find it, and this is from my life experience, I found that it's much more weak to not allow anyone to help you. Because for me personally, when I refused to allow people to help me, it was because I existed in such a state of fear. Fear that I couldn't do it, fear that I wasn't enough, fear that if I allowed people to know what was really going on within me, that they would agree with me that I wasn't enough and I couldn't handle it. And I just was a total waste of time and effort. And so I did everything on my own, and people would look at me and be like, "You're the most strongest independent person that I know." And I'm just like, if you only knew the things that go on in my head and why I do it on my own. So it's definitely something we have to begin considering. So the next card was Jupiter returns, benefits. This is about movement, okay? This equates to the Chariot card in the tarot. This is about moving forward, stepping forward with grace. You have to give yourself more compassion than you've been giving. A lot of people, especially those who have more inner and understanding, have done a lot of spiritual internal work. I find that when they defend themselves, when they allow themselves to have that rare knee-jerk reaction to a circumstance, when they allow themselves to be triggered, immediately they're like, that wasn't so compassionate of me. Compassionate for whom? Ask yourself that. Compassionate for a person who completely had no respect for you and your sovereignty, or not compassionate for yourself? The person who has been trying to regulate and not step on toes and be very, very mindful of how your words and energy and behavior affect the people around you. Who needs more compassion in that moment? A person who just keeps mouthing off, or a person who is absolutely beating themselves up for having a human experience, one moment of human experience? And so that this actually goes back to, it's the same person I was interacting with yesterday. I don't know what caused them to post this, but I happened to see it. It was the first post on my feed when I went to go check my notifications on Facebook. It was something about how triggered, if you're triggered, then you have to realize that's rooted in fears because you're afraid of something. No, not always. Not always. Sometimes when you're triggered, it's because your soul is offended with the blasphemy that it's witnessing. Like, I kind of got triggered by that, but it wasn't because I was afraid. It was because in that explanation, well, okay, if it's fear, then what if it's a reflection of the observer's fear? What if you're observing fear because that's what's within you? And if that's the case, shouldn't you be addressing that, not me? If you don't want me to be triggered, why? Why does me being triggered by your behavior automatically mean that I'm afraid? Aren't you the one that's afraid of me being triggered? I'm just saying, these are things to think about. Like, when I get triggered, it's not necessarily because all I experience is fear. It's because you did something to make someone who is normally very patient, very compassionate, very, very focused on staying in her grace. You did something to make my soul feel like it's time to flare up and let you know you out of pocket. You don't get to poop on other people in that way. Is that fear? I don't think so. I'm not afraid. It's not rooted in my need to control someone else. It's my need to help you to see in a way that you understand, because some people, that's how they communicate. That's what they understand. Some people need you to speak in a more passionate way. Nothing happened, guys. We're talking about fear and the Chariot and moving forward. But sometimes That's how they need the communication, because they've really convinced themselves that they know everything and their ears have been plugged up. So you need to sound like a little bit of a sonic boom to clear that crud so they can actually hear a reflection of what they're doing. I don't think it's fear-based. Not all. Some of it is fear-based, but not all. So this is telling you to move forward in that. Like, have compassion for yourself. Move forward in your journey with more compassion for yourself, because there is nothing spiritual about martyrdom. Having compassion for others, but not for yourself, at the very least, the same level of compassion that you have for others for yourself, that's martyrdom. You weren't created to be a martyr. You just weren't. And so it's time to release that belief. It's not necessarily wrong. Some people still need that belief. But once you get to a level where you understand things much more deeply, then yeah, you're ready to release it. So part of fortune increase. It's the wrong page. This card is about karmic triggers. Weren't we just talking about being triggered? So let's see. All right. So this is about karmic triggers, your destiny, your fate. Maybe it was part of your destiny to be triggered in that moment. Because we're so conditioned. And this is what really grinds my gears. Not about anyone in particular, but just the whole concept really, really grinds my gears. There is nothing spiritual about trying to put on a spiritual act. Nothing at all. Oh, you say too many bad words. That's not spiritual. I guarantee you Jesus used some badass Aramaic cuss words. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. Jesus said some stuff in Aramaic that was really like, oh my God. And people are totally like, oh, that's not very Christ-like. That's not very Jesus-like. Okay. Let's get real here, okay? Let's get real here really quick. In Jesus' time, according to his peers, according to the society he existed within, Jesus was a terrorist. He terrorized the establishment. He was a terrorist of his time. He was such a terrorist that he was subsequently executed. Our perception has been skewed. And I say Jesus was a terrorist, not as he was a bad person or that he was evil, spreading hate. No. He was a terrorist in that he was fighting against the machine. And anything that fights against the machine, it instills terror, because guess what? Hegelian dialectic. They create a problem, and then they offer a solution, and they wait for the people to ask, to beg for that solution to be implemented. With the people not realizing this entire time, they were going to have you do that anyways. But now they played a psychological game to make you think it was your idea. Look it up, Hegelian dialectic. Hegelian dialectic. So Jesus was over here being shown like he is a terrorist, which for that establishment he was. But he was all about the people, about empowering them. And that's what made his behaviors so terroristic, because he was empowering people. He was taking the power from the Pharisees and giving it out to the people, giving it back. He was a spiritual Robin Hood. Boom. And we have this perception that Jesus was like, I know, I'll go be born into a human body, and then I will have myself crucified to show everyone this is what we do. We martyr ourselves. No, Jesus was like, there's some bullshit going on in this world. Tag me in, daddy. Tag me in. It's my turn. Tag me into the fight. I'm going. And he came and he fought and he tried to shift the paradigm that existed. And then cognitive dissonance kicked in. And the powers that be utilized that cognitive dissonance to further the Hegelian dialectic, and then boom, executed. He was murdered. And then later on, his teachings were bastardized. And we were told they were something they weren't. And this is not a religion lecture, but it's definitely a reflection of what we're experiencing again. The very people who are here sharing the same type of truth that Jesus was sharing in his time, it's more than just one person now. I'm not the only one sharing this message. This message is not organic to me. It's not unique to just me, is what I meant. There's quite a few of us. Am I saying I'm a Christ? No, I am not. Don't even start thinking about ways to crucify me. I will freaking fight back. But yeah, no. The truth of the message is rising back to the surface. We are being asked at this point by our souls, as a collective whole, we are asked to allow our faith to ripen into a state of knowing. Faith is the seed. Knowing is the plant. That's when you go from seed to plant. And as you become a plant, you then open up the potentiality of becoming nourishment for other souls. Do you see how your empowerment empowers everyone who witnesses it? That's exactly what Jesus was doing. Exactly what he was doing. Exactly what he was executed for. So maybe it's time more of us actually take up the truth of that work. Not for religious reasons, but because that's what your soul actually volunteered for. And maybe all of these nightmares that are happening, different people having weird ass dreams. And it wasn't just last night. Last night was when I had a weird ass dream. So when I saw more messages today talking about weird ass dreams, I was like, you know what, that's too much. That's too much. It's now affecting me. Let's see. Right. Be the example. We are the example. We are a living template of manifestation. And this is the very reason why such a huge push to keep us in a perpetual state of fear and separation is always in play. This is why. When you cease to exist in a co-creative state, you then begin to exist in a competitive state. And again, competition. Some would say there's such thing as healthy competition, but I don't know. I think we really need to explore the realm of co-creation. Wow, Jennifer Daniela, is your son okay? And the people who are having these bad dreams, these nightmares over the past few days, they're the ones whose energy signature, it reads very elevated. Meaning there's a high likelihood that those individuals have been tasked with pulling in extremely high frequency and anchoring it into Gaia so we can be pulled up in frequency. Well, you know, even if you can successfully delay our growth as a collective whole, our reunification, it's just a delay. So to those things, those beings that are attempting this, you're just an inconvenience. But you don't stop sovereigns from being a sovereign. It's not allowed. And the moment you, as a sovereign, stop participating in the inconvenience, it ceases to be an inconvenience. You get refocused back onto your path and propelled forward. And another thing that maybe this is the most important analogy that you could really have in life. Just like an arrow, it has to be pulled back before it's launched forward. And just like an arrow, the further back it is pulled, the more tension it experiences. And the moment you release, the moment you allow, the amount of backward motion is directly tied to the gravity of your forward movement. So if you think things are going backwards, you're taking steps back instead of continuing to grow, remember the arrow. Seriously. I was telling someone this the other day. Like, this is the one thing that's really, really helped me to understand and not be so bitter and feel as though I'm being victimized, feel as though, I'm being punished. What did I do to deserve this? I exist now in a state where, backward movement. Okay, how far back are you going to take me? That tells me how far forward I'm going to go as soon as I release the need to control. And it's your hand that's releasing it. It's your spiritual hand. So it's your soul pulling back, creating tension. The further back, the further forward. It's directly tied because creation is all about balance. However far back you go directly determines how much forward you fly. Okay? So we're going to leave it at that. I have cookies to eat. I have tea to drink. If this reading resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, share it out. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. I think, I cannot promise, but I think this weekend I might begin the second half of the month of May for the zodiac readings. We have a lot of growth before us, and growth typically causes discomfort. Be ready, guys. Do some stretches. Side bend. Do some stretches. We got this. We got this. From the deepest depths of my heart's ocean, I love you guys very, very much. Bye.